I'm Krystle. I've loved dolls my whole life. I collect everything from porcelain to cloth, American Girl, neonates, and real care dolls. But my favorite is to collect and make Reborn dolls. There's Chloe, Grace, Jeremy, Maya, Yuki, Savannah, Zoe, Haley, Landon, Maisie, and Joshua. It isn't easy keeping up with my collection, but it sure is a lot of fun. Hi guys, so I'm here to change Yuki this time. I'm gonna get her out of her, well, I mean, this is sort of supposed to be like a Christmas pajama sleeper thing, but really it's like more wintry. It's got penguins and snowflakes. But I thought I would change her into her panda bear fleecy sleeper that I can't remember if I bought it for her before Christmas or if she got it for Christmas, but I'm going to change her into that. And today's topic I want to talk about is, can we ever really fully 100% enjoy our hobby? And I mean, I believe that a lot of us here in the community, in the Reborn community, are quite content with their hobby and how they take part in the hobby. But I'm going to sort of play a little bit of devil's advocate here in regards to that. And what I'm talking about is, okay, I know a lot of us in the community are just simply, you know, we like to collect the dolls. We love the artistry. We love the baby fashion and changing the outfits. We love all that aspect. We enjoy occasionally holding and cuddling our babies and displaying them. And we're quite content with having our hobby that way. And, you know, a lot of people are not interested in role-playing with their Reborns, and that's totally fine. Like, I always say there's no right or wrong way to do this hobby. It's whatever way you want to enjoy the hobby, and as long as you're happy and content with what you're doing, that's what matters. But I'm wondering if there's some people that feel this way. I was sort of thinking of it recently, that I feel like when I originally started collecting dolls as an adult, I mean, I've always loved dolls, like I said, from the time I was a little girl, and I had lots of dolls that I played with when I was a child, and I did keep some of those dolls, like my Cabbage Patch doll and my Child doll, and I still have them. But as an adult, like when I started collecting dolls as an adult, as I've mentioned before, I started out by getting an electronic neonate doll that was basically modeled after the Real Care Baby Think It Over dolls, like the electronic interactive parenting dolls. And I'm gonna just be honest, like when I started out with this, when I first got my electronic neonate, my intentions on getting that baby was actually not to collect dolls. I just had major baby fever. I wanted to be a mom really bad, but I was too young. I was only like 19 or 20. I didn't have a boyfriend at the time. You know, I was nowhere near, I wasn't finished school. I didn't have a job. You know, I was not ready to have a baby. And I just had thought back to when I was in high school and I did the Baby Think It Over program and how much I absolutely loved it because it made me feel like a mom with that interactive stuff. So, you know, when I found out that you know, the company didn't sell to individuals. They only sold to schools. But then I found out about the neonates. I decided to opt for that. And so my original intentions with it was to get that electronic neonate, and that was going to be my baby until I was able to have a real child. And it, you know, my initial intention was to get that baby, treat it like a real baby, care for it, you know, all the time, unless of course I was in school. But, you know, change it every day, care for it every day like a real baby. Take it to family functions, take the baby out in public, like all the things that you would do with a real baby, I had planned to do with this doll. And then I got the doll, and my mom had a complete negative reaction to it. Was like, why are you wanting to get this? Do you want people to think you're a teen mom? What is your, like, you know, aren't you a little too old for dolls? I mean, all the negative things. And it sort of put a damper on things. And so then I was sort of kind of like, oh, I guess I won't be able to do all these things with my baby that I thought I'd be able to do. So I would, when I only had that one baby, I would change that baby every day. I would put her in a new outfit every morning, put her in pajamas at night. But I would do all of this in my room with my door closed so that my mom didn't have to look at the baby, because she seemed to have a very negative reaction to it. I did eventually get up the courage to take my baby out in public, because my friend Denise at the time, she got a non-electronic neonate doll, and so we took our babies out to the mall a couple of times, which was really fun. But I remember feeling very uneasy the first few times I did that, because I knew my mom was side-eyeing me as I took my baby out. So I never fully felt comfortable. And so basically, like, what I'm getting at is I wasn't really able to fully engage in my hobby the way that I had envisioned engaging in my hobby. And so, you know, the years went by, and so I never did take my baby to family gatherings and all this stuff. Like, I just didn't. And I rarely took my baby out, and kind of kept it hidden in my room. Now, when I finally moved out and got, and then actually, sorry, back it up. I did eventually end up discovering Ashton Drake dolls, and then I got, a couple of Ashton Drake dolls, which my mom actually seemed a little more receptive to those because they were more realistic looking. And she actually really loved my Jasmine Goes to Grandma doll when I got her. She fell in love with her. But again, she didn't understand why I was buying real baby clothes for my dolls, why I was changing them, why I was, you know, carrying them around and things like that. And she really wasn't receptive to me taking them out in public and all that stuff. So, you know, I sort of suppressed, I learned to just sort of, you know, suppress how I really wanted to do my hobby, and, you know, kind of modified essentially what I wanted to do. And so in a sense, when you think about it, I was not fully enjoying my hobby the way that I wanted to. And so, as I said, then we moved out. Alex and I moved out. We got our own place, and Alex has always been very supportive of my hobby. So he had no problem with me, you know, getting new dolls, getting a bassinet for my doll, you know, getting a bouncer, car seats, all that stuff. He had no problem with that. And for a while, sometimes I would take the babies out with him in public. And then after a couple of years, he eventually admitted that he was not really comfortable going out in public with the dolls because he just like didn't want the attention. And like, obviously, like, I can understand that, and I'm not going to force him to take them out in public if he's not comfortable. At least I have doll friends now that I can go out and do outings with our babies, and we have a good time and we have fun and we feel like at ease and comfortable. And, you know, if we do get any reactions, we welcome them and we love them. But Alex, you know, he's more shy. So like, I don't, you know, he just didn't like, even if there were positive reactions, he just didn't like the attention. So once again, you know, I was sort of like, you know, whenever I had real like baby fever and really wanted to like fully engage in the hobby and, you know, basically role play a bit more, I felt like I couldn't. And, you know, sometimes I would take a new, like when I started to get into Reborns more, and my mom really loved the Reborns. And then when my mom went to the Down East Doll Show with me, she had a complete, you know, she had a completely new outlook on the hobby. And she walked away from that doll show like completely understanding the hobby. And she has no longer been negative about it since that day. Like she loves to see the new babies I get or the new babies I make. She absolutely loves it. You know, I've seen her like pick them up, give them a kiss on the head, carry them around. Even when we were at the when we left the doll show and we were heading to Myrtle Beach, she was holding my contest baby that I had entered at the doll show, and I caught her like, I don't even know if she realized she was doing it, but she was like rocking the baby. And it's just like one of those things, Reborns are so realistic that you just have that natural instinct to like pat their bum or kind of like sway when you're holding one or rock them. Like it just comes naturally, like especially if you're a very nurturing person, motherly person, like it just comes to you, right? So my mom had a whole, you know, I was so glad that she came to that doll show with me because it had a whole new perspective for her. And, you know, she saw other mothers there with their daughters that were my age. And, you know, she heard how they originally reacted to the hobby, which was very similar to my mom. But then, you know, they realized like, you know, anyway, so it just really opened my mom's eyes, which was great. And so then I felt able to I started to share my dolls on my Facebook. And, you know, at first some of my family was like, it's kind of creepy, it's weird, but they've just sort of like gotten used to it now, and they realize that this is my hobby, that it brings me joy, it makes me happy. And even if they may not like fully understand it, or even if some of them may find them like creepily realistic, they just kind of like don't, you know, they keep their comments to themselves. And they just, you know, they support my hobby. And so, you know, whenever I would get new dolls, if we were getting together as a family, I would want to come and show my new doll to my mom or my grandma, because my mom and my grandma especially love them. But again, if there was other family members there, like aunts and uncles, again, I would sort of feel like I don't want to have the doll out the entire time I'm there. So I would bring my baby, my Reborn, I would bring my Reborn in a doll bag and take the doll out to show off for a couple of minutes and then put it back in the doll bag and set it in the corner. Because I just felt like I couldn't like treat it like my child or something. And role play that and just like keep my baby like sitting on my lap the whole time. I don't know. I just sort of felt like I was stifled in that way. And I still, and you know, and so because I had, basically it had been like that for so many years that I feel like this is part of the reason that now, like, other than the occasional role play video that I do on my channel, which I absolutely love doing the role play videos. They're a lot of work, but creatively I find them fun to film and edit, especially like editing in sound effects and things like that. I feel like when I do those, like, how do I put it? I'm not role playing like I would on a day-to-day basis, because I don't role play outside of YouTube. I basically view my role play videos on YouTube as a skit. It's like I've in my head, I've kind of constructed a story that I'm going to play out on the screen, and I act it out, and it's a skit essentially. And then of course, like, the filming and the editing of it is almost like making a little movie, and editing the music and the sound effects and all that. So it's a whole creative process for me. And so that's why I feel like now, other than going on outings with my doll friends and taking our babies out, I don't take my babies out otherwise. And I don't role play with my babies at home, because I've sort of settled into, like, I was basically forced to settle into being just a doll collector that collects the dolls and displays the dolls, occasionally changes an outfit and displays the dolls, and that's it. And it's almost like now I've gone so set in that role that I can't even, like, seem to bring myself out of that and fully enjoy the hobby as I wish I could. Let's put it this way. In an ideal world, if there was zero, and I mean zero, judgment from people, because I can't have kids of my own, as it just happens, the cards I was dealt, having real children is just not in the cards for me, between my health and the finance struggles that come from my health condition. Like, it's unfortunately not going to happen, and it sucks, and I feel bummed out about it on an almost daily basis. I try not to think about it too much and try to just accept it and move forward, but it sucks. So in an ideal world, I would love to be able to pick up one of my reborns and dress them in the morning, change them into their pajamas at night, role play with them like they're a real baby, and, like, take them out when I go out, take them to family gatherings when we get together, and have them out and sort of accepted as, like, I know that they're not real, and I am under no delusion that they're real, obviously, because they sit around my apartment on display and I don't do anything with them. But I'm just saying, like, in an ideal world, I would love to be able to. I probably wouldn't do it, like, all the time and on a daily basis, but in those moments when I am really having major baby fever, those would be the moments where I really wish I could just bring my baby anywhere I want to, care for them like a real baby if I feel the need to. You know, just sort of basically feel out on a day-to-day basis how I want to interact with my reborns or not interact with my reborns, and have it be okay. And not feel like I'm being judged by family and other people. Like, do you know what I'm saying? So that's kind of the topic. You know, just basically, can we ever really fully enjoy this hobby? Is the question I am posing. And so, like, in the comments, tell me your experience with this. Do you feel that you have sort of lost the way with the hobby, in that when you initially got into the hobby, you got into it for one reason, and it has now sort of morphed into a completely different reason over time? But not that, like, it was your, I don't know how to explain it. Like, it wasn't willingly that it morphed into that. It's just that it was almost like you realized that you couldn't do certain things in the hobby without people judging you. So then you changed how you do the hobby. I know that there's a lot of us in the community. I would say like the majority of us in the community are just collectors and enjoy the art. But I know there are a lot of people that are in this hobby because they can't have kids. And so I guess I'm mostly speaking to those people. Like, have you encountered this? Have you noticed that you stifle the way that you take part in this hobby because of other people's opinions? And it's funny because I try to portray on my channel that I don't care what other people think and that I just do my hobby. And in a sense I do. Like, when I go out with my friends in public, I don't give a crap what anyone thinks. Good comments, bad comments, I don't care. But I think, like, for me it's more like I don't care what strangers think. But I do sort of care in a way. Like, I don't know. I do and I don't care what family thinks. I don't in that I don't allow family's opinions to stop me from collecting my dolls and taking part in the hobby in terms of making videos and changing outfits and taking pictures and posting pictures in that aspect. But I do let their opinions affect me in the terms of, I guess, role play with my Reborn dolls. So yeah, I just am kind of wondering, like, what's been your experience with that? Have you encountered a similar thing? Do you find that your way of taking part in this community and this hobby is a little stifled? Or do you feel like you're fully engaged in the hobby and that you are taking part in this hobby the way that you really want to? If you have encountered a situation like what I have talked about, how have you handled it? Those are the kind of questions I'm asking. So I just thought it would be an interesting topic to talk about because I don't know that I fully enjoy this hobby the way I would like to. And it was just something that sort of crossed my mind over the past year because I was really dealing with a lot in terms of trying to come to terms with the fact that I'm not going to be a mom. And I've had like some hard moments over the past year with that. And I think in that I sort of, you know, started looking at my hobby and looking at my Reborns and how where I started back in 2002 has completely changed to a whole other place now. I almost feel like maybe, I don't know, because once I found out about Reborns and how realistic they are, it just snowballs from there, guys, because it's like, oh my god, this one's so cute, this one's so cute, I need to add this one to my collection, and blah, 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 and it just kind of spirals. But I almost have to wonder if my neonate or real care baby that I had got at the time would have been accepted in that way if maybe I would have just kept that one baby and not grown a collection. Like, because I almost feel like people view it less negatively if you're just collecting and displaying versus role playing, I guess is what I'm getting at. Anyways, guys, I don't want to blabber on anymore about it. I hope you can kind of understand what I'm talking about and what I'm asking as our discussion question. And like, feel free, leave your comments about your experiences with it. And if you have a YouTube channel, feel free to make a video talking about the topic. If we want to make this like a tag going around, feel free. And if you have made a video, just let me know in the comments below that you've made a video so I can go and check it out, because I can't guarantee that I'm subscribed to everyone that would comment. So yeah, guys, just let me know. Can you ever really fully enjoy this hobby the way that you want to? So anyways, here's Yuki. Super cute. I love kind of having her hair a little tousled at the top. This sleeper fits her so perfectly, and I love the panda bears on her. Panda bears are her thing. Oh, she looks so cute. Look at the little panda bears on the feet. Anyways, guys, thanks so much for watching this video, and I look forward to hearing your view on this. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Bye.